Hey everybody, it's Eric with What's in the Box, and we are continuing the Texas Horror Lit Fest author interviews. And today we are joined by Andrew Alonso, who I call Drew. I'm not sure. I wanted to make sure I got your author name in there, but everybody knows you as Drew. So, um,
That's me.
how you doing?
Good, good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for the event. I don't know if people know, but your wife is the cog that is keeping this event together. She stepped up when nobody else would and took over Texas AuthorCon and turned it into Texas Horror Lit Fest. And I think she's doing a hell of a job. So
Oh yeah, she's definitely put every ounce of energy that she can into this thing, and she's very, very passionate about it, which I really respect. And I mean, she's always been a hard worker, but my God, she's like kicking it in overdrive because she wants this thing to be the best that she can possibly make it for not just the book attendees but the authors and everything. And so I am very excited for this thing for sure.
yeah, I think it's going to be a fun event. I've really enjoyed watching it blossom over the years, and it was interesting to see new management basically take over and kind of guide it back to the original principles, the original idea of why this event was even formed. So it's been kind of fun. But enough about her. We are talking about you. And so the first question I have is Freddie, Jason, Michael. Who you
Oh
got?
boy,
You can order them, or you can just tell me who you like the most.
i'm gonna have to go I'm gonna have to go with Jason. Yeah, yeah, I do like the other two. Freddie, not as much. Michael, I I would have picked him, but one of my closest friends, he's like my brother. He's obsessed with Michael Myers, and so I'm always hearing about anything related to Michael Myers damn near every day. So just to make it fresh, I'm gonna say Jason. Yeah,
What is your favorite Friday the 13th movie?
probably part seven for
Part
sure. Uh,
seven.
yeah, I love the aesthetic of his face when the mask gets ripped off. It's not like story wise it's not the best. It's pretty simple. It Firestarter meets some zombie slasher or whatever. Like that's how I kind of like see it. But I've always loved that face. That when I just see the ending when the mask splits off, and you can see Kane Hodder like moving the mask around, and it just
Mhm.
looks so organic and awesome. Yeah, so that's my answer. Although I do have a newfound respect for part nine. Is it Jason Goes to Hell? I used to vehemently hate that movie, and then I saw a documentary on the making of the film, like the process and everything, and it made me appreciate it more. So I
That's
don't hate
cool.
it anymore.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, no, seven definitely is a worthy selection. It's just rarely do people gravitate towards it, but I totally get what you're saying. I mean, that was in my wheelhouse growing up. I loved the Tommy trilogy, and then, but I mean, how can you not, like you said, enjoy Firestarter versus Zombie Slasher?
Yeah, like the whole telekinesis thing and everything. I thought
Which
that
was,
was pretty interesting.
yeah, I mean, well, they had to introduce a character that could match the supernatural element that they have turned Jason into. He's no longer six turned him from just normal killer to, you know, entity,
Undead,
right?
unstoppable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a force of nature. So, yeah, you
And it was
definitely
also
needed
really
somebody.
clever. It was also clever because by having those abilities, she could keep him at arm's length. Because obviously, if he got his hands on her,
Hmm.
she's dead. So that I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I think from beginning to end, it's the best franchise. I mean, you may not like one of the entries, but I think they're all solid.
I mean,
Um,
there's a reason why it's endured as long as it has. And I mean,
mhm.
Michael Myers is close, sort of, in
But
terms of
his,
longevity.
oh yeah, yeah, and without Michael, we don't have any of them. So yes, we should all tip our cap to Michael. But at the same time, it
I hadn't
drives
even
me.
thought of that. I hadn't thought about that part actually,
Um,
but you're right, I guess. Yeah,
but his misses are big.
yeah.
Halloween when they miss, they really miss, and
Oh yeah,
so
yeah. That's a good point. like of all the Friday the 13th movies, I don't really know of, like, me personally, like I never really hear people complain about like any of those being not great, except for
Mhm.
part, like I said, part 9 is very divisive to some people. But I mean, even Jason X was like ridiculous, but it was like awesome ridiculous.
Yep.
You know, Part 7, Jason Takes Manhattan, another ridiculous. But like that's kind of the point, right? Like it's that's what that franchise is about. It's fun ridiculousness for
Hmm.
the sake of it. Whereas with
100%.
Halloween, for sure, it does take itself a little bit more seriously. And so I think for that reason, that's one of the main reasons why narratively it can fall short. Plus, I don't know how you feel about Rob Zombie's interpretation, but I'm one of those people that, for certain elemental forces of evil, it doesn't really do any good to give them a broken home backstory and give you a reason to empathize with them. That's not terror, that I don't know. That's just my opinion.
No, my argument with that has always been if Rob Zombie was making a new slasher character and that was an origin story, everybody would love it. But
Right.
because it is Michael Myers, it's terrible because at no point are we supposed to have a backstory. He
No.
is, the shade.
Yeah, you just listen to what Dr. Loomis says,
Yeah.
and that was the whole point.
And then in Zombies part, Loomis is completely different. He's
Yeah.
trying to connect with the character. He still believes that he can reach the character, and all that is just nonsense. So, um, and then you add on the back end of the trilogy, the new trilogy. I thought 2018 was awesome, but the other two, what I don't know what they're doing.
You
So
didn't like Corey's story? Yeah,
I
that's what
don't know.
everyone kept
Is that
calling it.
is that the third one? Because I refuse to watch the third one.
Yeah, yeah. People like renamed it to a Corey story or something like that because
The
it's like
second
what's
one was so bad, it pissed me off so much that I refused to watch the third one. So
you're
I don't
not
even
missing
know.
a whole lot, I don't think.
That's what everybody's told me. I
A lot of
admit
people
that.
really like the mask, I guess, but I mean, other than that,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not watching 2 hours for a mask. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, especially because it's not even in it most of the time. I mean,
right. So
spoiler alert. Sorry.
that's what
For,
YouTube's for. If I really wanted to, I could go watch the clips, I guess.
right, the
But
highlights.
so now I don't know if people know this, but on top, besides being this amazing science fiction horror author, you also create these amazing figures, statues. You do a whole bunch of cool stuff, and it ties into my next question, which I've asked everybody if they have a favorite creature or cryptid, in a book or a movie. And I know you have a line of cryptids and creatures, so I was curious, what's your favorite?
Oh boy. So, I mean, it doesn't have to obviously be from my books. If the
No,
whatever,
anything. It
Jaws
can, it's
for
okay.
sure.
Just like it could be a book or a movie or both. And
Yeah,
yeah,
hands
Jaws.
down, the shark from Jaws, the book, I loved so much. And I mean, I love the movie, but I love that book, and I really wish that it could be, adapted to the screen the way that Benchley had written it.
Hmm.
I really think that would have been obviously a very different story, but like, just the mafia undertones, and then with Brody and Hooper and like that relationship, and yeah. But the shark, the book that I'm working on right now, um, I took great pains, I guess, I think that's the expression, to not do what Benchley did. Um, so I wanted to do something different with the shark in my next book. But like one thing that I do love about Benchley's, the way that he portrays it is it's like this elemental, like organic, unstoppable machine. It's just like it has no. I can't even put it into words. Sadly, I hate. Don't you hate when that happens? We're writers, and yet we can't find the words that we need when we
Right?
need them.
In like 2 hours, you'll say it. You'll just blurt it out.
Yeah, it'll come to me
And
something like
Ashley will be like, "What are you talking about?" And you'll be
yeah.
like, "Don't worry about it."
I'll be like, that's what I should have told Eric. Damn it.
But yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about in the book. And a lot of times it's one of the few books that drive me crazy when everybody does their movie versus book thing because they're so different.
Yeah.
and they're both great in what they are.
Yeah, so the
So
movie
there's
is fantastic.
yeah,
It's just the different. It's like a like I would look at it as like a multiverse, right? That's the Bruce for that world, and the shark. Because I don't know, I don't obviously Benchley didn't name it Bruce, right,
right.
in the book, but you know what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean the
I
shark is more um a metaphor for the sheriff's life as it breaks and falls apart around him and all the other problems he's dealing with um and I think a lot of people really just wanted a shark attack, which is what the movie gives you. If you just want shark, the movie
yeah.
handles it perfectly. If you want a little more complexity, the book is there and layered with
It's
so
such
many
a
different things.
it's that, and that's the thing too, is that the story of Jaws, right? I mean, because there are so many shark book, Steve Alton and his Meg series and everything, and those are very interesting. Also, there, I mean, I feel like me personally, I find those to be kind of almost like popcorn
That's
books.
exactly what I was about to say. The popcorn books. They're
Yeah,
100% there for you to be entertained, but you're
yeah,
not getting
yeah.
anything
There's
else
not
out of
some
it.
of the, but with Jaws, it's a little bit different because it's a different. It's like you're entertained, right? But it's more you're more entertained by like the darkness of like the human condition and
Hmm.
insecurity and like life passing you by and regret and
Yeah,
on top of
we're watching a midlife crisis for this guy in this small
yeah,
town, and we're
yeah,
seeing all the
essentially,
choices that he made basically blow up in his face all at the same time while a shark is attacking people on
yeah.
this beach.
It's like adding salt to the wound.
Hmm.
Interestingly enough, I mean, obviously, because I saw the book or saw the movie before I read the book, but like I can't see anybody but Roy Scheider playing that character for some
Yeah,
reason.
no, he's perfect. It's one of those cases of perfect casting on almost all levels.
I,
Even I mean, I don't think of Richard Dreyfuss as like a heartthrobby guy, but I guess back in the 70s he was. So I mean, he kind of could work, but you would need somebody if you were to pursue that one storyline. I don't know. And even it had nothing really to do with him being a heartthrob. It had to do with him being a representation of the wife's
right.
past life and her, stepping down from being an elite to being the wife of a sheriff in a small town and losing all of that prestige and Hooper's character offered
You
her
know,
a
the
chunk of that.
interesting thing about that too is it really makes some of the things that she says mean so much more
Hmm.
in a different way, right? Like, when am I going to get to become an islander? Like, you can understand she's like wanting to go back to. We don't know that watching the movie. If you've only ever watched the
Oh
movie,
yeah, if you watch the
you don't
movie,
have any
she's
idea that she's hoping she wants to go back
yeah.
to like that status. Never, never. You'll never be you're not born here. You're not an islander.
Which
You
is
know?
also interesting because I mean, you understand Spielberg only has, an hour and a half, 2 hours max to tell the story. And so sometimes your characters are going to not have that dimension that you get from the
Yeah.
books and stuff, which I always find funny when people are so anti the book in the horror community. When you think, I mean, it's like they don't want any of that. They really do just want the shark. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I always try and keep them separate because I think the movie's fantastic and the book's fantastic. So
Yeah.
you'll never have an argument for me. I grew up on reading about shark attacks before Shark Week was a thing, and I loved all that stuff. And so getting to see it on the big screen and then read it when I got a little bit older, it was eye-opening. I'm a huge fan of his as an author. I love all of his water terror stuff, the ones that have creatures and the ones that don't. A lot of, he does a few that the man is the monster, which I'm always a big fan of those kind of books too. So I think more people should read eventually. So
Oh yeah. The only thing that makes me sad about that is his remarks on Jaws.
yes, I know now
Specifically,
he wishes he didn't
what a
use.
bummer. But
Yeah,
it is a great story, and I mean, yeah. But I get where he was coming from. My favorite, aside from that one, is probably Beast. I love Beast. For so many years. I just want to see Architeuthis ducks. I want to see this damn giant squid. Does it really have hooks in its tentacles and all this other jazz?
yeah, it's a fun one. I think my next favorite's the Deep. or Island. Maybe it's yeah, I think Island is the one. I don't know. I go back and forth between the Deep and the Island. I love both of those. So
I have
that's what I'm
not.
saying. He's a great writer. Like it's one of those ones where I could celebrate his entire catalog and not even, I don't think there's a bad one in the bunch. I'm sure somebody's going to jump on and bitch about White Shark or something, but whatever. Leave a comment below.
I
And
did like that one
I
too.
did too.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it was an interesting idea. So
Yeah, very, very different than that title. I tell you,
yep,
it's like,
yep.
oh, is it gonna be like a sequel to John? Not quite.
Yeah,
No.
not at all. He went sideways. So, and
Yeah,
you know what? In a good way. And I
yeah, it
think
was really cool.
I think I like his style. I like his writing and stuff. And that's always fun when you find an author that you connect
Yeah,
with the way they write. It doesn't really matter what they write.
yeah,
Crichton's the same way. Yeah, and I think that's why he was able to get away from being pigeonholed into one kind of book, and he wrote so many different genres and was able to jump from them book to book and cover basically everything. And everything always was so good was just because he's such a good writer. And speaking of writers, my last question for you is there a book or an author that inspired you to be a writer and also inspired you to want to do the kind of books you write now, the horror science fiction kind of stuff?
Well, so the person who inspired me to want to be a writer, interestingly enough, was Charlie Kaufman. Um, because I wanted to be a screenwriter years and years ago, and I
Hmm.
wrote a lot of spec scripts. Um, and a few of them, they had some nice little rumblings here and there, probably due to nepotism. My family's in the film industry, so there were a couple of really fun close calls. I can say that now in hindsight because I would never. I don't think I have the temperament for Hollywood for writing because I know all the horror stories that come along with that. Especially as a
Hmm.
first time writer, there you might as well just throw yourself in a meat grinder. But um, so that is where I got my desire to tell stories, and then eventually that sort of dissipated mostly because of the realities of that industry and like kind of just knowing one your odds, two even if you became successful like what it ends up costing you, and so as a dream, I knew that that was probably always going to stay a dream, and so I'm not one who how do I put this, in my vocabulary when it comes to work, there is no dream. There is just you do it and you get it done.
Hmm.
You can do that with a novel because it's yours and your world and your story. And so you're not beholden to anybody for, permission to do this or to do that. And that was very attractive. But uh, as far as like the novel format, Peter Benchley, Michael Crichton, Stephen King, of course, is probably my favorite. As much as some people probably like roll their eyes, oh, he's every horror person's favorite. Everyone loves Stephen King. I don't know, or maybe they don't. I would say maybe like that. Clive Barker. Yeah, there are a few. Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's
Hopefully, that's a
cool.
good enough answer.
Of course, man, it's your answer. It's the best answer I could have got in this interview. So, um, I think it's fun though. It's interesting because you're not the only author I've talked to that started doing screenplays first and then moved them to
Honestly, it's. I
novels.
mean, so the interesting thing is that I love the challenge of screenwriting
Hmm.
because, but I think if you start being a screenwriter first, it kind of makes you a better novelist because you are already forced to like write in a very constrained manner, and if you don't do that effectively, the whole manuscript falls apart, right? So if you don't have those constraints, and you still maintain the discipline that you honed while working on screenplays, you can kind of make your worlds a little more richer. And also, it's kind of like just a thing. It's very cathartic, You're trying to tell
Hmm.
a story as a screenplay. All right, so I have to make sure that I have this many acts, this many pages, this many minutes of this and that. And it's so formulaic and mechanical. So to be able to take an organic story and weave it into that mechanical, rigid infrastructure, once you're freed from all of that, it's definitely, I mean, I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to, you know, do that instead. Me personally, yeah.
No, I totally get it. So, and I think it's the same. When I first started, I'm not a big fan of short stories, and so I forced myself for the last couple of years to do more anthologies and stuff like that, where I had to write tighter, quicker stories that got to the point, did everything to kind of tighten that up and be able to tell an effective story, um, and within a certain kind of criteria or whatever. So, yeah, I think you should always challenge yourself to do
Yeah,
different things.
it makes you better, just by the sheer act of doing
Hmm.
something that
Yeah.
you aren't comfortable with, I think. And then eventually you become comfortable with it, and then that allows you to then take more risks later in other avenues. So yeah, but I get it. Yeah, I've seen your table, so you're definitely doing something right because you got all kinds of awesome stories on there.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I got a lot of things. So, and speaking of, hopefully, the whole reason we're having this discussion is to promote Texas Horror Lit Fest, which is actually what,
Couple
four,
days.
4 days away, maybe. It's this
Yep.
weekend. It's June 27th, 28th, 10 to 6 both days. It's a free event, and there's over 70 authors and vendors that are gonna be horror adjacent. So come
Yep.
out to this event and swing by each table, say hi to everybody. You're gonna find some new favorites, and you can see some people that maybe you've celebrated a lot of their books and stuff, and they'll have some new stuff. As I've discovered as we've done these interviews, so many people are bringing things that are specific to the event. So that's really cool.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
um, like I said, it's a free event, but there are ways for you to let us know you're coming. Go to Eventbrite, the links will be below, click on it, and if you do that, you can enter it into a raffle, which will get you some cool stuff. So we're excited to see who's coming out to celebrate horror and books and everything in between. There's going to be panels and workshops, and you get and hang with us, 10 to 6 both days. Go table to table and chat with everybody and see what's going on. So I'm really excited for that and excited to see Ashley's vision come true, come to life in front of us. I've watched it from the background, getting to see, what she's planning, but it's going to be really fun to be there and see it come to life. So
Oh yeah.
I'm really
She's putting
excited
a
for
lot
that.
into it. Definitely.
Yeah. So everybody come out. You guys want more events in Texas, in the DFW area? This is how you get them. You come out and support the ones that are trying and doing the things to make it cool for you, the reader. So
Yeah,
come out
that's
and
right.
say hi. Plus, it's going to be hot. So come hang out with us in the
Yeah, come hang
AC.
out in the air conditioning.
Yeah. And, and let us know what you're thinking. I want to say thanks for popping on. It's always fun talking to you, and I can't wait to
Yeah,
see you at the
thanks for
event.
having me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take it easy.